Hi, y'all. I'm Everby, and I want to introduce myself. I'm Everby. My social media name is Spooky Girl, and I was originally born in Cleveland, Ohio, but I live and work in Toledo, Ohio now. So I thought I would introduce myself because the content that you are looking at is mine, with the weird bugs and the orbs and all that stuff. That's my content. So I just wanted to come introduce myself to those who don't know me. So I was actually born with, I guess you can call it, a ability to see things that other people cannot see. And I thought I would try to explain myself just a little bit so people can kind of understand where I'm coming from with all this content. I was always able to see stuff when I was little, stuff that others didn't see, and I kind of learned at a young age. I just didn't tell people because I figured out that they didn't see it. It took me a while, but I eventually figured out I was the only one seeing these. Not, that was in my circle. So I didn't tell people. You know, um, as I got older, I start. As I got grown, I start capturing the stuff because we didn't have these fancy cameras and stuff. I'm not an old lady, but I am an older lady. And so today's technology is advanced, and the cameras is making a lot of this stuff show today. So I had as I got grown and start seeing the stuff, now I record it. There was a gap in some years when I was having my kids and all that stuff. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I was still having the experiences, you know. So, yes, I have seen UFOs and all that stuff. I've never seen who's flying them or the pilot. Never seen that. Aliens don't get out and wave and say hi to me, but I have seen many UFOs. I have seen them. I've seen my first one when I was 6 years old, out my bedroom window. So there's that. So yes, I can see spirit. They don't look bloody and all that stuff like the movies make them look. When I see them, I can't speak for nobody else's experience, but when I see them, they look like if they were sick, um, real sick before they died, and they didn't look like themselves. They don't look like that when I see them. They look like the healthy version of themselves. You know how people pass and you'll dream about them, and they don't look like they did before they passed. If they was really sick, they look healthy again before they got sick. That's how spirit looked to me. It looked like it looks like a hologram, but a healthy version of that person. It looks like a hologram. It looks like a kind of like a movie or something. You get what I'm saying? Now, people think that the orbs, and I've explained this many times, that the orbs are human spirits. And with my experience, and I've been doing it for a lot of years, and sometimes I can see some of this stuff with my bare eyes. Not all the time, but sometimes it's rare, but sometimes I can. Now, people think that the orbs are all human spirits and stuff, and that's just not true. Um, I've yet to see. Well, I've maybe seen two human images inside of an orb. Most of the orbs that I've been recording, and I have a lot of content, they usually have non-human images in them. You know, like would be a extraterrestrial or entity or something. It doesn't, the image inside don't look human to me. So I've maybe seen two orbs that maybe had human features, but when I see a human spirit, when I see them with my eyes, it looked like a hologram to me. And I've seen a few. Okay, so we got that out the way. So now I'm on daily motion. I don't know what they're gonna do. They might kick me off too. I wanted to say I don't know. A lot of I don't know how to fake stuff like this. This stuff is real, and I'm gonna leave my information so that if anybody want to reach out to me or whatnot, um, that they can reach out and get in touch with me. Like, maybe a journalist or a reporter or something, because my stuff is real. Now, I I actually took some of this content to news stations. I've been sending it around everywhere. Nobody will give me a chance. And I know people fake this stuff a lot. So, um, a lot of people probably think it's fake. My stuff is it's not fake. And sometimes I actually wish it was. Because it gets a bit overwhelming. But I'm a spiritual person, so this is for anybody that understand energy and stuff like that. Everybody ain't gonna understand this, what I'm about to say. So I'm very spiritual, and so my frequency, my vibration, is what's attracting them to me. And I believe all humans can have these experiences, but it's based on your frequency. We don't, they decide who they want to see them and who they want to interact with. It's their decision. They decide that, but it's based on our frequencies and our vibrations, our energy. So because I'm very spiritual and compassionate and you know hate to squash bugs, I do, but I wonder if they had a little bug family. You know, I guess my frequency is they like it. So that's why you see so many of them around me. Now, I started seeing this stuff when I was young. I want people to know, because a lot of religions say it's demonic and, it's voodoo and the occult and stuff. I've never had a bad experience with it. Never. All experiences have been non threatening and peaceful. I've never been harmed by it. Ever. And, so um, the way I live my life and everything is just me and my cat. I don't entertain or invite that type of stuff into my life. So basically, demons would be very bored around me. I'm a very good hearted, compassionate type person, positive. So, they could come around, but they'll be bored. I think my atmosphere would be unpleasant for demons. Yeah. So I don't, when people say that, I don't really pay it no mind. I'm not afraid of this stuff. I know I'm protected. I know God. I've been knowing God since I was a little girl, and I know I'm protected. Now, because of that, I'm not careless or anything. Like I don't do too much communication with them and everything. And when I do, I say a protection prayer. You know, so yeah, there's that. I want to say a little about meditating. I do meditate and I pray a lot, and everybody shouldn't meditate. You have to have the right type of energy to meditate. So when people start talking about they had bad experience when they meditate and demons came after them, I don't deny that. Um, but when you're dealing with this type of strong spiritual energy, your heart has to be right. Your energy has to be right, positive, and correct. Right? It's like going to the wrong address and, the wrong person answering the door. You get what I'm saying? So you can't be living, negative and wrong and that type of stuff and think you're going to meditate and get angels. It just don't work like that. You get what I'm saying? Like you gotta fix your stuff. So although everybody can meditate, everybody should not. You should not. Yeah, if your energy is not right and positive, leave it alone. It's not for you. And when you have these responses where there's an unpleasant response when people meditate, that's the universe saying no, that your frequency is not matching. Okay, you're being denied the access that you're seeking. You're being denied. And yeah, so there's that. I just thought I'd throw that in. Now I wanted to say I post my content, and I've been posting it for years on YouTube. I use Quora, some on Pinterest, and I got one more, or it's a site called Boo. I don't have a lot of subscribers. This is probably why people think my stuff is fake. It's not. You could challenge me any day, any day. Most of my videos you see, they have a live timestamp on them. You could see the clock at the bottom, moving. And in the videos that don't have the clock is up in the right, is still up in the right corner or something like that. Or either I cut it out the frame because it was in the way of the image I wanted you to see. Sometimes when the orbs come in, they'll fly and them little numbers will be in the way. So I don't know how to fake stuff like this. Um, I had to learn how to, know how to cut a video if it's too long or something. You know, Google Photos and YouTube will help you with that. I know how to shorten the videos and things like that and frame them, but I don't know how to fake this stuff. All my stuff is real. And I actually took some of this to TV stations here in Toledo. One TV station, it might have been two. I went in person and called back, maybe gave it 2 days and called back. And they actually said that it got lost or something. So, yeah. So there's that. So I just didn't bother with them anymore. But I did have helicopters, flying over the back alley area, for, I want to say, months after that. Yeah. And so, sites been kicking me off and stuff, calling my stuff spam. It's not spam. It's not scam. I'm an older lady. I don't know how to do that stuff. And probably because the way I title my stuff, I got so much content that I run out of titles, or I don't know how to title, or I'll just I don't know what other titles to put on it. So it's so much content, I'll just put like a finger, a hand, or some eyes or something, and it looks like the same stuff. So they'll say I'm scamming. It looked like the same stuff if I don't change like a thumbnail or something like that, or something like that, because I get tired of just thinking of titles because I got so much of it. So I'm not scamming. I have a lot of those funny looking bugs that come into my backyard, and so once the way the camera records it or downloads it, you'll see the trees and the bushes and stuff, and it's like 50 different bugs, but the thumbnail is the tree, is the yard. You get what I'm saying? So I have to actually go in and change the thumbnails. So, so you'll just see like 10 pictures of my yard or 10 videos of my yard and thinking it's the same, and it's not, I just have to take the time to change the thumbnails and the titles. And sometimes I get tired and don't want to do that. Also, anybody that want to, reach out to me about this stuff, you want to make your big break or whatever, give me a chance. Sites been kicking me saying I'm spamming. I promise you my stuff is not spam. This stuff is real. It's real. And I don't even ask for nothing. My channels, my subscriptions is free. Although, I put my Cash App up so people can donate. They don't. The years I've been doing this, I've never received $1. Nobody's ever donated anything to me. I even got a GoFundMe. The name of it is Beyond the Veil. Nobody's ever donated one dime. I think it's $5 or $6 on there that I did to make sure it was working right when I first put it up. But yeah, that's the only donation. And that was actually from me. From, another one of my email accounts. I just wanted to make sure that it was working right. But nobody has ever gave nothing to my GoFundMe. It's called Beyond the Veil. Yeah, so, or my Cash App. So I had said that, I could use help, with, better equipment, better phone, better camera, maybe even a telescope, be able to buy storage space and all of that stuff. I wasn't asking for billions of dollars or nothing, but I believe my content, I have very good content, and it's worth something, you know. And I was just asking for help with editing tools, like equipment, a better camera and stuff like that. Maybe maybe a telescope or something. That's what my donations were for. But nobody never gives me anything. But that's okay. I just keep on going. So I just wanted to introduce myself. And yeah, Reddit actually kicked me off. I had over 100 something videos and photos on theirs, and they erased everything and kicked me off. And it probably was because the way I was titling, I just wasn't titling everything. Some sites force you to title, you have to put a title, and I probably was just putting eyes or a hand or a pointing finger or something, because I got so much content that I run out of titles. I do. So it looks like scam or spam. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but it's not. It's not. And even if you see the same thumbnail, go ahead and click on it because it's different content. You know, it's just me, just didn't change the thumbnail. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Quora, I'm on Boo, I'm on Pinterest. Um, People may again think it's scam or spam because I don't have a lot of subscribers. I don't. I think my content is spectacular. I don't see nobody who's got content like mine. So I even reached out to I've reached out, when I was on X, I reached out to a lot of news stations. And what I did was sent my best, what I thought was my best, most recent stuff. So I picked 5 different stations. I sent it all to them. I sent them like, 10 videos. The videos are short, they clips. And I sent them all like 10 photos. And they reported me. And X threatened to, you know, shut off my account or whatnot, if I didn't stop spamming or scamming. Yeah, I had picked 10 news stations. So I'm just saying this to say, if, somebody, see a spark in me and what I'm doing and want to give me a chance, you know what I'm saying? I did send this stuff to news stations. I sent it to websites and everywhere. I don't get it. I don't know what, I guess people looking at it and going, oh, this can't be real. It's got to be fake. But it's real. It's real. And that's the killing part about it. People do fake this stuff, but mine's is real. And I can't get, nobody, nothing. Never received a dollar or anything, and I'm gonna keep posting. But yeah, I did take it to the news station, the UFOs, that I did, and yeah, they never reached back out to me. And when I reached back out to them, they told me that the stuff got lost in a recycle bin or a trash bin, or it was something to that what the lady had told me, and she wanted me to resend the stuff, but I didn't. So a lot of you that watch this video right here, just know, like, I'm an older lady from Cleveland, Ohio. My stuff is not scam, it's not spam. And the only reason why it's getting labeled that is either people is doing that on purpose, because they know it's real and they just don't want it to get out, or because I wasn't titling everything, and I wasn't putting different thumbnails on everything. So when you see the thumbnail, they all looked at the same. So I get that, but it's not spam. I can prove my stuff. I can actually have somebody come sit in my house with me, and I can meditate, and they can have a camera going, and you'll see the orbs come. Like, that's how real my stuff is. This is why I did the meditation video where you see the orbs come around me. So it's not dust. I know some people think, get orbs and dust mixed up, and that's a thing. You can mistake dust for orbs and orbs for dust and things like that. No, because I actually in large minds, I zoom in on them, and all orbs don't have images, but some do. All don't. And you know what I'm saying? So I kind of, because of my abilities, I know, I can tell, I can actually sense them before I see them. They don't always want to show themselves, So I can sense when they're in my presence or in my space. I can sense it anyway. So even when they don't want to show themselves, I still know they're there. So um, my stuff is not dust. It's not fake. I don't know how to do none of that. Only thing I know how to do is chop a video if it's too long. It's got stuff in there I don't want you to see or it's irrelevant. I'm focusing on the image I want you to see. So yeah, YouTube and Google Photos shows you how to cut off if it's too much. You can cut it, you know, and the frame or something. If it's something like, say, I got a hole in my wall I don't want you to see, I might cut the frame a little bit. I know how to do that. I don't know how to fake stuff. This stuff is real. This stuff is all real. And I know it's a lot of people that don't get it. They can't understand it. You know what I'm saying? But because they not experiencing this, and I know I'm not the only one that do experience this, but it ain't got nothing to do with the occult or nothing. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. I don't think telling people that the only way to God is this way. I don't think that benefits anybody. Everybody is entitled to God. You don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. That's ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with some churches. All churches ain't bad. These days they're a mess, but it's still some good people in them churches. People just want to hear about God. So, I ain't, talking down on the churches. I'm just saying it's not for me, but anybody that tell you the only way to God is this way is wrong. There's all kind of avenues and ways to get to God, and if you need church, that's fine, but if you don't, it's not for you, that's fine too. Like, he accept us all, and he just happy that you coming to him. So, yeah, there's that. But anyway, this is Ever Be Spooky Girl. And I wanted to introduce myself and talk about my content. My content is real. Anybody want to challenge me? If there's, these entities, everything, this stuff is real. This stuff is real. And I know it's hard for people to accept that, because people, their mind is locked up, But again, this ain't nothing that happened to me because I meditate. I do meditate, but I'm not afraid of meditating because my heart is right and my energy is correct. So I don't have demons running and chasing me, But I've been dealing with this since I was a little girl. So, yeah, before, I got grown and started meditating. So I know I'm protected. I've never been harmed by this stuff. It's just once you raise your frequency to a certain level, your energy, your aura, this stuff is available to you. You get access. That's what I believe. So people have to work on themselves. You can't be living a certain lifestyle and then go and meditate and think you're going to get angels. No, it doesn't work that way. The universe is going to shut you down and tell you no. You got to go work on yourself. So if you want to see the things I see and have the experiences I have, you have to raise your frequency. Elevate your frequency. And that is done with kindness, acknowledging we have a creator. You don't have to call him God and he be this religious thing and all this. He's a supernatural entity. And just acknowledge that, we have a creator. You can't call him God. You don't have to. Acknowledge that and be kind to others, including animals. And that will raise your frequency. That's what it's all about. This ability, I think, even though I was born with it, I don't know why some people is actually born with it. Or is we all born with it? I don't know how that actually worked. But maybe it's a part of my journey. It's something I need to be doing. I don't know. But this has been going on with me since I was little. Now, those who wasn't born with it, you can still achieve this. You get what I'm saying? By, work, your spiritual work and everything. You get what I'm saying? Awakening and all kinds of stuff, becoming aware and everything. So I know this stuff is weird to some people, and that's okay. I understand. You know what I'm saying? It's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? When people call my stuff spam and faking stuff, you know what I'm saying? I just be laughing because I'm like, wow. People wait all their life to see a UFO or alien or, an entity or whatever, and then here I am showing it to you. You know what I'm saying? And people just can't believe it. They call my orbs dust. I done recorded orbs with faces, zoomed in on them, showed them to y'all. Not dust. And yeah, the insects that you see, it's not the shutter or the front or the camera or none of that, because then the background of the or the video or the picture would be kind of fuzzy too, or you know what I'm saying, in a double or something like that. No, those bugs that I'm showing you are clear. It's clear. The image is clear. The video is clear. The picture is clear. They are not our type of bugs. I don't know where they come from, but they're not bugs that we're used to. They ain't got nothing to do with how they moving or shutter or nothing. They are interdimensional bugs. So yeah, I've been actually looking for the men in black to come knocking at my door, but they never came. So I guess that's probably why they got rid of those UFO videos. And probably the reason why my stuff is still up on YouTube is government is probably watching my channel, I'm sure. They can look and know it's real. They know it's real. Even if other people don't, they're looking at it because they know, like this stuff is real. So, I don't know. But like I say, hopefully Daily Motion or, you know what I'm saying, or, let me keep putting my stuff up on here. I've been on YouTube for years, but other sites, they kick me off and call me a spam or a scammer. I'm not. You see me? I don't know nothing about that. I wouldn't know nothing about taking videos and making videos. When you see my videos, they're in my house. It's me. You can hear me talking. Um, it's time clocks on my videos, all of that. I don't know how to do that. And I had somebody comment one time that, like, on one of my videos, I don't know which one, I can't remember which one, but he said if the Transformer movies could put a man, the boy in the movie with the robot, then other people can do it too. And I was kind of, I was kind of grateful for that comment. He wasn't being nice, but to compare my videos that I'm doing with my camera and a $50 my cell phone and a $50 Amazon camera, to compare that to a Hollywood Transformer movie, that made me feel good. Wow, I didn't know they looked that good, but yeah. So he compared, and I don't know how to do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all my movies is, I had people comment, "Girl, your house is dusty," and it is dusty, But those are orbs. They're real orbs. I call them universal orbs. Sometimes I say spirit orbs, but I just need people to know most of the orbs that I've recorded have extraterrestrial, alien images in them, entities and stuff. They don't have human in them. I've rarely seen a human image inside of an orb. Lastly, I think orbs are like drones. They are ethereal, however you say that word, like some type of drones. Kind of like an advanced FaceTime or whatever. That's what I think orbs are. And I think they just, I think the entity that, like, the orb is not the actual entity that's using it. Yeah, you know, it's some type of drone or surveillance type of device. You know what I'm saying? But it's advanced, and it's able to watch us in our natural, you know what I'm saying, without disturbing our natural flow, our natural vibe. And people don't think nothing of it because it looks like dust. People just fan it off. It looks like dust. And they're able to be in our space and interact with us without us even paying them no attention because they look like dust. And again, some of it is dust. All the orbs you see ain't going to be legit like mine. People get them confused. But I think they are some type of drones because a lot of orbs I've recorded, I'll see an entity behind the orb or in the same area, and it won't. If you're looking at an orb or recording an orb, look around the orb in that vicinity. Because sometimes the entity that's controlling that orb is somewhere around there. Not all the time, but sometimes. So I do have some orbs that you can see like an entity behind it or something. But I was not paying attention. It took me a year before I even, yeah, I was just looking at the orb. But I start looking at my images more closer, and sometimes you can see the entity that's controlling it. So orbs are not actual entities. You know what I'm saying? They are used to travel or something like that, and they are used for traveling and surveillance. And a lot of entities use them. Angels, extraterrestrials, maybe some humans, deceased spirits. Um, yeah, they and interdimensionals. They all use those orbs, not just humans. Stop saying, orbs is your dead mama and stuff. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if orbs are your deceased mother or whatnot, but a lot of the orbs that I've recorded have extraterrestrial images in them. Yeah, when I see deceased loved ones or spirit, it's not in an orb. I don't see them in an orb. You know, they look like it's a hologram. It looks like them, but healthier or younger. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce myself again. If anybody want to help me out, all my it's free to watch my content and come look at my stuff on all the sites that I'm on. They haven't kicked me off because they think I'm spamming. But I have a cash app. It's Ever1974, I believe. Not the B, just Ever1974. And again, my GoFundMe is Beyond the Veil. And that'll be Everetta Brown or Ever B. So anybody want to um, donate a couple of dollars or anything, I would be appreciative for it. I don't charge anybody for anything. It's all free to view the content and everything, and I think you can download it, screenshot it, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I can use some donations if anybody want to donate. That would be nice. I done had my GoFundMe up for years. You can look and see what year I put it up. Never got anything. So yeah, it's not a scam. It's not a scam. So I'm gonna leave some contact info for anybody that want to get in touch with me, and I'm gonna add some more stuff, some more videos on Daily Motion. Okay. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Me introducing myself, Ever Be Spooky Girl, and please open up your heart. Donate a dollar or two or some change to my GoFundMe or my Cash App, so I can keep producing this stuff, and have better stuff. Both of my cell phones, I have a Samsung, and then I have an X iPhone, and both of them have cracked screens. So yeah, but and yeah, I was working my way towards a telescope. Look like I'm gonna be getting that myself. Nobody will donate. But I would really appreciate any donations. You don't have to. You could still watch my stuff, but it would be nice. Okay? Because I do record this stuff. I do edit it a little bit with the cutting and all that stuff, and, cutting off time and screenshotting some of it. Sometimes I pre-record it. I have to re-record it in slow motion so you guys can get a good look at what you're looking at and stuff. So it is some work. It is some work. And I would appreciate anything, a dollar or anything. I would appreciate. Again, the Cash App is Ever1974, and the GoFundMe is Beyond the Veil. And that'll be under Everetta Brown, or it might be Ever Be Spooky Girl, But the name is Everetta Brown. That's what the name is. Okay? Well, it's actually Everetta, but everybody just say Everetta. So Everetta, Everetta, pronounce it however you want to. But thank you guys for listening. I appreciate y'all. Bye-bye.